Hello, Internet. I am Insane Lena as well as a Canadian girl, and this is Bo, who's starting to learn that when I put the headphones on, I'll be sitting here for like 20 to 30 minutes, and that's a good time to beg for attention. You're a smart puppy, aren't you? When it comes to food and cuddles, he's very smart. Other things, not so much. Today we have yet another way too long title. Nasty, entitled, cheap couple acts like they own hotel, causes chaos, and thinks they're untouchable. I'm definitely going to have to shorten that for the YouTube title because they limit to 100 characters. But this is another, we have the year of like really judgmental titles going on, and I'm not a fan. But we'll see what we think. Also, a lot of hotel videos this year. Hotels and like Universal Studios. But let's see what we got.
Well, then I'll walk out to the road.
You've already been asked to leave.
Okay, well, I'm leaving. Don't touch me.
You're going in.
Don't you touch me.
Why?
Whoa! What the? Whoa!
Stop being dramatic, ma'am.
Okay.
Behind your
You
back.
got asked to leave and was leaving, so
On November 4th, 2024,
let's see what up
officers
with
were
that.
dispatched to a hotel after reports of a couple becoming aggressive over a payment
Okay.
issue. The staff claimed they only charged for 2 nights, but the couple insisted they were overcharged. Let's find out what happened after
Okay.
the arrival of the officers.
Getting very aggressive, screaming and yelling, yeah,
This guy?
because they're saying we charged him for 3 nights.
Okay.
We only charged him for 2 nights. There is no way in our system to charge without it being attached to a folio.
Okay.
Screaming and yelling, want the owner, don't want to leave.
Okay. Are they current guests?
No, they checked out.
Okay. All right.
And they're saying they
Okay.
were going to call the cops because we stalled on them. We didn't. I can show you all of it.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
Good
So they
puppy.
did last 2 nights?
No, they were here
You're
Friday
all
night,
right.
Saturday night. Checked out Sunday morning.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me show you.
Okay.
So see, in our computer system, when you run a card, it goes directly into our system.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2.
Okay.
Here's the first one. Here's the second one.
Okay.
This one was declined. And this is their printout. Shows the declined and the 2 sales. These 2 are mimicking because this is a
Right. Got it. Okay.
authorization.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then we capture
Okay.
their card when they come in and
Sure.
hand our cards.
Okay.
But I'm
Okay.
not going to have them staged and scream that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Hello.
Well, we can step out
Okay.
so we have our privacy
Okay.
like she had hers. If you don't mind. I know you were coming to talk to us. You're okay.
That's all right. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. So tell me what's going on.
Okay, so I'm going to show you, since she showed you her paperwork.
Okay.
All right, I was charged here 104.28, right? 1 night. I was charged here twice. We stayed 2 nights. They charged me 3 times,
Okay.
and I just want my money back.
Okay. Have you disputed it with your?
I don't
Bank?
need to dispute it with the bank because
Yeah, you do.
they took the money. My bank didn't take the money. They took it from me.
But if
And now I don't.
Didn't take it. We've got the proof that they did. And then the lady started getting an attitude with me, and I told her, no, I want to speak to your boss.
Okay.
She told me her boss is in California. Well, I don't give a about that. She's still your boss, and she needs to do her job. Because if you're not going to get a hold of somebody, then I'll call somebody else. Well, I'm calling the
No,
cops.
would you like to
Call
go
them.
bark
I'm
at
not gonna run
something?
because I ain't done nothing wrong.
Right. Got it.
And we can review the cameras where her boss standing right there behind the had to tell her to stop and be quiet because she was causing the issue.
All right. So at this point, they've got one that shows
1,
was
2.
declined. Right.
Right.
I
Yes.
It wasn't
I
declined. It
understand.
was taken out
But
this month.
it's going to be between.
There were 4 charges.
Okay.
1 got declined
Right.
because the guy put in the wrong number
Okay.
over the phone.
Right.
The lady here called me, and then we put it on his card instead of my card. The first charge was
Okay.
my card,
Okay.
right? The one that got declined.
Okay.
And then the rest of the charges went to his card under.
Okay.
Upon arrival, officers spoke with the hotel employee.
Okay, I don't need a narration of what we just saw.
Be back.
So all 3 charges that were taken out are under his card. The one that was declined, yeah, I can prove our
Well,
card.
she showed me 3, but one said a pre-authorization. You know how they kind of hold until hand.
Right, and we waited 2 days.
Uh huh.
Okay.
morning they actually took the
They
money.
posted. It was posted.
And now my bank account's in the negative, so I have a huge problem. And it ain't a call a corporate type problem, it's a fix-it problem.
Okay.
What's going on with them?
Okay, I think they're obviously disputing the charges. I can't say I like the manager the blonde lady with the glasses. Can't say I'm a huge fan of her attitude. Hotels make mistakes, banks make mistakes. Whether they actually did overcharge this couple, like who knows? They were saying there's some pre-authorizations as well that likely haven't cleared yet. That's probably what's coming up as looking like they've been overcharged because what a lot of companies, especially hotels and stuff, what they'll do is they'll like charge a pre-authorization on a card basically to make sure that there is enough money on the card to cover the charge and then put the charge through when you actually check in. The problems come in that sometimes what doesn't happen is the pre-authorization, which puts a hold on that amount of money, doesn't clear, it doesn't reverse or disappear when the charge is put through. So effectively, yes, you do get charged twice for the same item for a few days. I've had this happen with certain online shopping places where they have double charged my card because they put a pre-authorization for an amount of random number, say $50, and then my item ships and it charges the 50 because now the item has actually sent, so they want to be paid, but I still have that pre-authorization hold from before, and sometimes it takes days to clear. Sometimes I've had to email into them and be like, hey, this should have cleared. So it can like screw up your bank account if you're on a tight budget, certainly. And honestly, I'm of the opinion that anytime you are putting through a charge for which a pre-authorization exists, either whether it's with the bank or the credit card company, but one of them should make absolutely sure that the second the real charge goes through, the pre-authorization is deleted. That would solve the problem, but system doesn't work like that. So I suspect that is the problem here, but we'll see. We got a lot of this left.
They're just really aggressive. They're saying that we triple charge them when they stay 2 nights. They're saying we charged them for 3 nights. There is no possible way for us to do that with our system.
Okay, but you have asked
There
them to leave
absolutely
already?
is. Like, I'm sorry, that's BS.
You have-
Okay, I'm calling BS on this lady's explanation of no, we couldn't possibly have overcharged them. I'm sorry. Any computer system can make a mistake. Employees can make a mistake. So don't tell me that it's impossible that a mistake was made. That's ridiculous. You can argue that no, we didn't make a mistake, and I can prove it, and that's what she's showing on her printout. But please don't tell me it's impossible.
Okay. Do you want them trespassed?
Well, let me make sure that they understand that we didn't overcharge them.
Mhm.
Yes, I do.
What we were trying to explain to them, and they just got hostile.
Okay.
And now the money that I had.
And then they give us this problem, guys, then they give us this problem because I demanded to speak to her boss?
No. No,
There's
because
more
it's not,
cops here
it's
for
not
what?
a bank situation.
Do you have your license or anything?
No, you're not getting my ID.
Okay, they've already asked you to
Broken
leave.
the law.
They've already asked you to
Then
leave,
I
so
will
you
leave,
are
but you're not
trespassing.
getting my ID.
Sir, they've already asked you to leave.
Then I will leave.
No, you're already
You
you're
asking
still
me
here.
to leave?
No, they
Are
have to ask
you
you. You've
asking
been
me to leave?
trespassed already.
No, you're not getting my
I'm
ID.
Okay, I'm sorry. The police are handling this atrociously. Also, I don't agree with the hotel having called the police over being shouted at. Welcome to working anywhere. People are going to shout at you, especially when you screw up or they think that you've screwed up about money. And as for the officer demanding his ID, he has the right to do that because they are being trespassed. However, idiot cop, no one has informed them yet that they are being trespassed. I didn't see an employee come out and say, we would like you to leave, and them refuse to leave. So no, they're not trespassing at this point. And he just said, we will leave. So at this point, the police are what's preventing them from leaving. Like, this is where trespassing gets into super sussy territory because he said we will leave. I understand they need his ID so like they have a record of who is not allowed on the property, but the police are just plain not handling this well. Like, at all. Like, there's nothing they can do about the charges or the money. She has to deal with that with the company. Yes, you have to call corporate and it's a huge time suck and it's annoying. or call your bank and put a complaint. I have dog hair on my face. Um, but like just starting to bark at people. Now I bet this guy gets in a fight with the cops, and it's like, you don't need to handle it like this.
I'm gonna ask you. I have not broken the law.
So they're just they're arresting him. Are you kidding me?
Stop resisting. What are you talking about?
Okay, these cops are so much fail. This is pathetic. This is utterly pathetic. The guy said he's willing to leave. They're going to say they're arresting him for refusing to ID, but I'm sorry, they have not adequately explained why they need his ID. And I'm not one of those people that says just because a cop barks an order at somebody, they should automatically obey it and like have blind deference to authority. That's complete bullshit. This is complete bullshit. Like, the guy said he's willing to leave. You stopped him from leaving. There is no reason they should be arresting him other than the police have decided the hotel's in the right, these two are in the wrong, and so this is the make the problem go away approach by just arresting people that are annoying, basically.
Man, are you kidding me? Resisting what? Resisting what? I told you I would leave if you were asking me to
Yep.
leave, sir. That's exactly what I just said. I just said I would leave.
Never said that. No, what is
That's
she-
true.
You have no right to do this.
If she asked you to leave,
He didn't, though.
if she asked you to leave,
By the way, guys,
Okay, except she didn't ask her to leave, you dumbass. The employee's just coming out now to tell them to leave, so they were never asked to leave by the hotel. So the police are completely jumping the gun here. They have no right to be arresting anybody when the hotel has not asked them to leave and they have not refused. Like, no wonder we're in Florida, because these cops are idiots.
This is your department. You have no right to touch me, check my ID, or anything. I asked you if you were asking me to leave. You would not answer me, sir.
Yep.
You've already been asked to leave.
Well, then I told no. By who?
By them.
I don't
No,
care about
they
them.
weren't.
I
I
asked
do.
you.
It doesn't matter.
I asked you
It's
directly if I
trespass.
was being asked to leave. You would not answer
It's
me.
trespass
Then you
after
grabbed me and
warning,
put me in handcuffs. No,
Trespass
sir, it's
after
not
warning.
trespass after warning.
Yes, sir.
I was never asked to leave.
Yep.
We were standing here having a conversation, ma'am. You're going to deny that?
Pull the cameras
Okay.
Do you have your driver's license, ma'am?
You're going to deny that?
Can I have it?
No.
You're going to go in handcuffs as well, ma'am.
Well, then I'll walk out to the road.
You've already been asked to leave.
Okay, well, I'm leaving. Don't touch me.
You're going in
Don't
handcuffs.
you touch me.
Okay. Now I want these cops fired. This is absurd. They're arresting these people because they don't like them, because they're siding with the hotel, because the business has to be right, because the business interest needs to be protected. This is what people talk about police acting as private security for businesses. That's all they're effectively doing right now. Again, she said, if I am asked to leave, I will leave, and she's walking away, and they're handcuffing her. I get she doesn't want to give you her ID, but that's a conversation. But instead, idiot cop is just going to escalate to, oh, we'll arrest you too. There's no way these charges stand up. No way in hell. Because, again, they were never formally asked to leave and given a chance to do so. They both said, I will leave, and then the police prevented them from doing so. So this is ridiculous. These cops are completely out of line, and quite frankly, they're dumb. How is this like 18 more minutes?
Stop being dramatic, ma'am.
No,
Put your
going
hands
on right
behind your back.
Are you serious?
I don't have nothing else to say to you. I don't care what you gotta say. I have nothing else to say to you. What they're doing right now is illegal, man.
Okay. All right.
I asked him if you asked us to leave, and he would not answer me. And then he put me in handcuffs for no reason.
Well, you're being detained right now.
The couple continued arguing with hotel staff, refusing it.
Okay,
Warned.
stop narrating things I just
I'm in
heard.
handcuffs. That means I'm going to jail. I was not being violent. I was not doing anything. There's cameras on here. No, I'm not being detained. You taking me to jail today, buddy.
I'm not taking you to jail.
Oh, no, I'm going to jail.
You
Oh,
wanna go
yeah,
to jail?
I'm in
right.
handcuffs. I want to go to jail. Yes,
Lawful
sir.
detainment.
They don't, baby. Don't talk to her. She's nobody. Oh, you put me in handcuffs because I was standing here talking to you? Who do you think you are?
I'm Deputy Vilhart with the Santa Rosa
All
County
right,
Sheriff's
yeah, and I'll
Office.
be talking to IA and your boss.
Well, you don't talk to IA.
You might, well, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That's where the formal complaint goes. You know, not when you call and I want to talk to your sergeant type. Yeah, no, I know. We were standing.
He is right about that. Like, yeah, you can call the whatever station these guys are from and ask for their captain, sergeant, whatever it is, and make a complaint. But quite frankly, nothing will ever come of that. So yeah, he's right. IA, internal affairs, that is where you file an actual formal complaint. And it can be tricky to figure out how to do that, but it's certainly possible, and it is the right way to handle this. And as for the cop now saying they're just being detained, I always call bullshit on that. Like, total bullshit. You're just detaining these two. You're not actually under arrest. Bullshit. The second you put cuffs on somebody, they're under arrest. Like, don't play these freaking word games that always wind up in trouble in a courtroom. Unless you're intending to, like, tell this guy, give me your license, ID yourself, and I will let you go, and which I don't hear anybody saying. Yeah, he's under arrest. So is his wife. Which you have no reason to be doing this.
In here having a nice, peaceful conversation, man.
Yes,
There was
and
no reason
Deputy
for
Rob has
anybody to
asked
put
you-
hands on anybody.
Deputy Rob has asked
He
you.
asked for my ID and got pissed off because I wouldn't.
No,
Yep.
you refused to twice
Exactly, and I don't have to give you my ID,
Yes,
bro.
you do.
I have not broken the law. What law did I break?
because they want you trespassed.
That is not a law. That is not
Yes,
a
it
criminal
is,
offense.
actually.
No, it is not. It is a civil infraction. No.
All right, you know the law better than I do.
I
That's
asked him
right.
repeatedly if I was being asked to leave, I would leave. He refused. He didn't ask for my ID. I wouldn't give it to him, so y'all put me in cuffs. Now we'll talk to IM. And no, when you put somebody in handcuffs, man, that means they're going to jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead and make some up. 'Cause I ain't done nothing wrong, man. I ain't done a thing wrong, dude. You know it. I know you know it. That's why you've been quiet, because you know it.
The biggest problem here is that the idiot cop never said, when the guy was like, I'm not giving you my ID, what the cop should have said was, because you are being trespassed, we need to ID you so we know who's not allowed back on the property in case you come back. I'm not saying the guy would have complied. I have no idea. I am saying the police need to explain themselves. It is not okay to just bark orders at people, expect to be obeyed, and when you're not, you pull the stunt like this. Like, dude, you need to explain why you need somebody's ID. Would it really have killed you to say like 10 words? But now you've got somebody who's going to fight with you, who's going to argue with you, who's going to feel like their rights are violated, even if they weren't. Like, it's just absolutely the amount of like disrespect. And the fact that the police are just completely deferring to the hotel is disgusting. Like, it just doesn't matter who is right or wrong over the payment issue. That is not for them to figure out. That's for a bank and corporate to figure out. But, the fact that they're treating two people like not people is really pissing me off.
Nobody yelling, wasn't nobody cussing, ain't nobody been unruly, anything.
You're going to jail as well. Go ahead and stand up for me.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so this cop's telling the truth. He's like, yeah, they're both going to jail. They already said that. So yeah, idiot cop who's saying you're only being detained. Like, there's 4 of you there. None of you are on the same page. And no, they're not being detained. They're being arrested for reasons of pissed off cop and nothing else.
Hold on, I have a bad ankle.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Josh, do you know, babe, do you know Mom's phone number?
Yeah, I got you.
That right there, her little incident right there, I don't know if saw it, but she threw herself to the ground.
Yes. Yeah.
Nobody's done anything here, man.
Mm-hmm.
We just.
Dude, he just asked you for your ID. Was that?
He doesn't have a right to
Yes, he
ask me
does.
for my ID.
Yes,
I did
he
not break
does.
Dude, I did not break the law, bro. It takes a criminal offense for you to ID me. That is the law. That is not only the law, that is your policy. I said, no, sir, if I'm being asked to leave, I will leave. And then I was thrown in handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
They stole money from me out of my kids' mouth.
All we
Like,
needed
that was my grocery money.
I understand that, but that is a civil issue. But you make it a criminal issue when they've told you to leave and you're
She
still
told
here.
me to stay. She said, no, hold on. Let me go pull up this paperwork. Yes, she did. Pull up the cameras. She said, go back there and
I'm going
pull up
based
the
off her
paperwork.
word. She's
Okay,
already
well,
told you to
there
leave.
is cameras.
Okay.
So she lied to you and I'm going to jail because she lied to you?
You're going to jail because she told you guys to leave, and if that's your husband or boyfriend, he's already admitted to it as well. So
No,
Why
he
did people
didn't.
create such a big lead? Insisted you two were blind.
I said you're being detained.
Okay, he has not admitted to anything. In fact, he's very much saying I did nothing wrong because we were not asked to leave, which, again, we didn't see the employee tell them to leave. And they both said, when the cops are like, well, you need to leave, they both said, I will leave. So, as for trespass after warning, this is a joke. It's an absolute joke. Like, these cops are completely out of line. And they're really just acting like idiots at this point. They are completely making up something that did not happen. Okay? You need to tell people to leave and give them a chance to do so. Both people said, we will leave, and started to do so. And the police then stopped them and handcuffed them. Like, argue the ID issue separately. But as for trespassing, total bullshit. Total bullshit.
Well, when you put somebody in handcuffs, that means they've broken the
They
law.
come off just as easy as they go on.
Don't give
Yeah,
me that
I know
crap.
they do. But they're not supposed to go on unless I've broken the law.
No.
I'm not a criminal. I haven't done anything, man. I haven't broken the law. I was standing here giving you our side of the story, and then I was thrown in cuffs because I refused to ID. You can't ID somebody unless they break the law. That is the law. And they just her too for what?
I didn't grab her.
I know you didn't, man. But you're standing here holding me, and I got handcuffs on for no reason, bro.
Can we, like, put my wrist a different way in these cuffs? It's like on my phone right here.
You've got 2 finger links in there.
Well, I can't turn it.
Or you're not supposed to be able to
Well,
turn it.
I know that.
And I'm going to double lock them here in just a sec
Do you
after.
have anything on you that's going to stick me, poke me, cut me? No.
Nobody's broken the law here, man. This is the problem people have. It's right here. Violating my rights. You think I don't know my rights?
You're an expert.
No, I am. I'm an expert on the First, Second, Third, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. And my rights are that you cannot ID me unless I broke the law.
Good. All right. Come and have a seat back here.
I don't know where I'm going.
Oh, we're going
I mean,
to this. Yes, ma'am.
And nobody should be going to jail. Nobody's broken the law. Nobody was causing a problem for you guys, ma'am, was I? Nobody here was causing a problem for you guys. But because I refused to give my ID, I'm going in handcuffs now?
Let's talk about trespass after warning. Okay? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be us. It doesn't have to be us. The representative of the property has asked you to leave, and you refuse to leave.
Okay.
That is trespass.
We were standing here talking to you, though. Do you understand that?
I do
So
understand
you
that.
expected
But
me to just
how
walk
many
away from
times
you
were you
without
told
saying
to leave
anything?
prior to me getting here?
Ma'am.
I'm asking you.
No.
Okay.
That's not
All
happening.
right.
I told the officer if I was being trespassed, I would leave.
If you don't want to tell me, we're not talking.
Instead, you guys put handcuffs on us because we refused to ID. Without a law being broken, you rightfully do
I just
not have a
explained to
right
you the trespass law. Trespass.
No, actually, you did not explain the trespass law. You just said that the employees asked you to leave and you didn't. You didn't explain jack shit, lady. Like, this is the condescending bullshit I cannot handle from anybody. This guy is wrong that you have to break a law for the police to ID you. They do have to have a reason, unless you're in a stop and ID state. I don't know if Florida is a stop and ID state. It wouldn't surprise me. Stop and ID states basically mean the police can literally just stop anyone on the street and demand to see their ID. It used to be a lot more widespread than it is. It's been pulled back. A lot of states have gone back on it. I don't know if Florida is currently a stop and ID state, but the point is you don't have to break the law for the police to ID you. In this case, because they just wanted them trespass, which usually is like a civil or a civil infraction or like a ticket. You know, technically it's breaking the law, but like not really. But again, still nobody has explained why they need his ID. I'm still waiting for somebody to give a proper explanation.
After warning, I just explained that to you.
Okay, that's fine.
They asked you multiple times.
You can say whatever.
So
You
that
asked
is
to
the
ID.
law.
I asked you multiple times.
The law.
If you're asking me to leave,
It's
I'll
not.
leave.
It doesn't have to be us. That's what you're missing. Representative of the property asked you to leave multiple times. That's why we were called.
And what you're missing, Officer Dumbass, is that they both tried to leave and you prevented them. They were both willing to leave and started to do so. That matters.
That's why they called
So
us.
I'm going to jail because after you and me had stood out here and had a peaceful conversation, I get to go to jail, right? I gave you guys the courtesy of standing here and talking to you guys about things and trying to figure it out. And when you tried to ID me, I said, no, sir, I'm not broken a crime, or I'm not committed a crime. If you want us to leave, we will leave. Then you threw me in handcuffs.
The man repeatedly stating on, stupid. Is the
I understand all that.
Okay,
I said multiple times if you guys are asking us to leave, we'll
But they asked
I
you,
said that multiple times and you did not. You did not.
and he asked you for your identification multiple times after being asked by the owner of the property to leave.
If you are here still on the property, here, and they've already asked you to leave, that is trespass after
Yes, sir. I
warning.
totally understand that, but we were standing here having a conversation, guys. I was standing here respectfully. Instead of just leaving and not waiting on you guys, I stayed here to talk to you, just so you guys knew we weren't here causing a problem. We were just like, no, call your boss or somebody because this is wrong. While we're here, failure to ID?
Yes.
What law is that?
You're on the property that they asked you to leave. I'm not. Yes, it's 810.011 if you want to look at it.
The law, and I did not.
Okay, everybody needs to shut up. Like, the police are not going to release them. They're doubled down and committed to, quite frankly, making 2 very bullshit arrests that are going to be absolutely dismissed because it's a fucking joke. But stop arguing. He's got his position. The police are going to say whatever they have to cover their ass for their bullshit behavior. They're going to back each other up to the nth degree, no matter how stupid what they're doing is. Nobody's going to get anywhere. So everybody shut up. You know, put him in the car, take him to jail, deal with the paperwork, let the lawyers sort it out. Stop arguing. Like, this is when it just gets stupid because the cops just want him to admit that he's wrong and they're right, and that's not your job. Your job is not to be right. It's not to make somebody agree with you. It's not to pull shit like this either, but that's what we get today.
Trespass.
If I'm being asked to
That's
leave,
trespass on structure or
I
conveyance.
told you guys I would leave, man. She did too. And you threw us in handcuffs anyway because we wouldn't ID.
Yeah. Exactly. We don't have time.
Trespassing is not. Look, that's civil, bro, and you know it as well as I do. And we told you we would leave, man. It's ridiculous, guys.
Dude, we were as cool with
We
you
were
as
asking you if you want us to leave, we'll just leave, man. It wasn't about the ID thing. I already gave you my name. You had my name. I was showing you everything I got. We let your left leg up. All I'm saying is this is ridiculous, guys. Are y'all kidding me, man?
Dude, it was ridiculous. That's why we're trying to help you
I
out.
was standing there speaking to you,
Right.
though. I wasn't.
Yes, but then as soon as Deputy Robbins asked you, you started getting super animated and looking like you were going to take off.
Bullshit.
If I was going to take off, I would have left before you guys got here, man. I stayed here waiting on you because somebody.
Do you really think, do you really think this is what we wanted to do?
Yes.
I don't think this is what you wanted
We really didn't want to kick you while you're down.
That's what I wanted to do either, man. You
We were
guys
trying
wanted us to leave, I would
Right, and that's what I'm saying, sir. We're trying to figure out to get your money back to see what was going on. And all he was going to do was issue a simple trespass warrant, which is a piece of paper. That was it, man. But you made it a lot more by refusing to provide identification.
Okay, and did any of you explain why you needed his ID? Also, the hotel obviously has both their names. So, technically, no, you didn't need him to give you his ID. You know who he is. The hotel knows who he is. And the point of them IDing is for the hotel to have the names so that they know, like, if these people come back that they've already been trespassed. The hotel already has their names. Like, this just gets dumber the more you think about it. But again, not one of these cops has explained why they were asking for ID. I'm still waiting for somebody to actually properly explain that. And I have a feeling nobody is going to. And again, if they're both being arrested for trespassing, total bullshit. If they wanted to push for failing to ID, they might have something there, but it's still a stretch.
When he asked you.
When I get asked for ID by law enforcement, it makes me feel like I've broken the law, and I really didn't,
give you a
man.
trespass warning if we don't know who you are.
Right.
It's just going to say unknown white male with
I
beard.
understand that part.
So
I
we need
understand
to
that
ID
part.
you so we can
Okay,
issue that
thank
warning
you.
and get you on the
completely,
way.
but
That-
Okay, officer in the shades, if somebody had said that 15 minutes ago, maybe we wouldn't be here. But none of you dumbasses said that.
That was my whole thing, man. My whole thing was if I'm being trespassed, I'll leave. You don't need my ID. You don't need nothing if I'm leaving, right? I'm
So
gone,
we have
no
to
more
issue
problem.
you a trespass warning because after they warned you, you didn't leave.
They didn't warn. They didn't ask, sir.
Well, on her sworn statement, she says that she asked you to leave. So you have the right to fight.
She told you, I'm telling you to.
And I understand
My
that.
word should hold just as much credit as hers does right now.
But when she says you're extremely animated and yelling, and we get here, and I walk up and you're yelling at the other deputies.
Sorry, man.
I didn't hear.
Let me. Hey,
I didn't hear him yelling at anybody. So I think the hotel staff is exaggerating what happened because I didn't see him getting animated or shouting at anyone. I saw two people who were definitely pissed because they feel like they were overcharged, but they were being calm. Honestly, I think this is the hotel staff completely overreacting and, as I said, using the police as their personal security because they know the cops will side with the hotel no matter what.
Can he sit down somewhere? In this one, this side?
First, he resists action.
This narrator is just.
You're good, man. You can slide it. Hey, man, are all the cards in your wallet in both of y'all's names? They're not in anybody else's names? As long as they're not in somebody else's name, we're fine. That's all I'm worried about. No, because at jail they want. I'm telling you, at jail if they don't have your name on it, they won't.
In jail, man.
We've been through this.
I'll trade you. It should be pretty low, man. We don't
And you want to tell me now, officer, that he's just being detained?
have any money because they just don't do. We're negative in the bank because of money. That's why we came up here, bro. We don't have any money.
Is there somebody we can call for the kids?
No, man. There's nobody but us.
There's nobody for the kids?
We're going to jail like criminals, and we're not, bro. We didn't do it. We didn't do anything wrong.
So you told them between 2 to 3 times to leave?
I asked them to leave, and first I asked them to settle down. And I said, I'm going to get the paperwork from our night audit, which gives us the transactions for the day. I tried to explain to them, and they did not want me to explain to them. They said all she said was, see her. She showed me her bank account. I didn't even look at it, but she just turned the phone around and she said, I have 3 entries here. And I said, well, one is pending. And I said, one will fall off. I said, in most institutions, they'll fall off between 7 to 10 business days. We have no control over that. But they were adamant that we stole money from them and that we were going to give it to them. They were not leaving, and they wanted to speak to the manager. But I did ask them to leave.
Okay. Do you mind including that in your statement that you did tell?
Okay, so you asked them to leave, but you also were going over the charges with them. And yeah, it sounds like the issue is over a pre-authorization hold that did not clear when the actual charge went through. So yeah, effectively their money is being on a hold that shouldn't exist. And she just said, I guess where they are, it can take 7 to 10 days to reverse. So yeah, effectively for that 7 to 10 days, you are being charged twice for the same thing because you can't access the money that's on hold. You can't use it because it's on hold. You have to wait for that pre-auth to clear, even though the charge has gone through. Like, again, once a charge is put through for something that was pre-authorized, the pre-authorization should delete immediately. But that's not how the system works. Do I think it's a complete scam? Yes. Of course it is. Nobody should be putting a hold on your money when you've already paid for something. You shouldn't have to wait 10 days for a hold to expire. That's ridiculous. So I fully understand why this couple is pissed off. They have every right to be, and it sounds like, quite frankly, the hotel did not handle this well. Like, I get they tried to explain, and it can be a difficult concept, but like, I also think this is something a hotel is going to run into frequently because I'm sure plenty of people are pissed off when this happens. So they should have been able to explain it better. And again, somebody getting loud with you, not a reason to call the cops. If you can't explain it and, deal with the situation, what are you doing being a manager? And again, somebody asking for your manager is not a reason to call the police. And it sounds like that is when the police were called. When this couple said, okay, you're not being helpful. I want to talk to your boss. And I've seen it a lot of times where employees will not call the manager, will not call the boss because it makes the employee look bad. Some businesses have like a point system even. I've worked in places like that where they keep track of like how many calls you escalate. And then if it gets to like a certain number, they, will sit you down for a talk and be like, well, you need to handle more of this yourself. And it's like, dude, there's some things I can't handle. I'm a level this person. Some calls need to be escalated because I don't have the authority or like the access to deal with them. Like when I did call taking at one company and whenever there was a financial issue and a refund needed to be given, I didn't have the authorization for a refund. I couldn't do it. So anytime a call was about like a missing item or something needed to be refunded, I had to escalate it because I can't handle that. I don't have that access. The person above me does. And I got talked to for escalating too many calls, and I was like, I escalated the ones that I literally can't handle. And the company I work for had no answer to that. They just said, okay, we'll try to escalate fewer calls. And it's like, yeah, sure.
Tell them to leave?
Mhm.
Okay. Again, sorry. I just wanted there to do the trespass warning so we can get out of here quicker, but...
You're good, man.
Can I have EMS en route to the Days Inn? The male subject stated he's not feeling well.
Oh,
I spent 11
great.
years of my life trying to stay out of these handcuffs and doing the best I could to be a law-abiding citizen, a productive citizen, a part of this community that cares about this community. And now I'm being treated like a criminal, man, and I didn't do anything, bro.
All right, EMS is here to check you out. Give me one moment.
Didn't see that
He said
coming.
he's not feeling well, and he said he's starting to turn pale. I haven't noticed any. He's on this side. I haven't noticed any color. After you're done with him, can you just check her out too? Because I had to take her down to the ground, and I just want to make sure that she's okay as well. She's fine. Okay.
Yeah, she's
all right. Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Thank you guys. I
All right,
appreciate
take
it.
care. You're welcome.
You know you're breaking the law right now, officer?
Why, by doing 5 over the speed limit?
With no seatbelt, man.
That's not the law. You think you know everything is the issue, sir. That's your problem. Your problem, no. Your problem is that you keep thinking you know the law better than I do. I've been doing this a long time. You don't.
Stop and ID.
You don't. No, it's not, sir. It's not a stop and ID state.
There you go.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, are you still over there?
Yeah, well, I'm over here, yeah.
On a Days Inn?
No.
Oh, can you stop back by over there and make sure that the vehicle's locked up?
My windows are down.
Yeah, I can.
My car.
Where are the keys at?
Don't touch my car.
Okay, you heard her. Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Never mind. She doesn't want her car secured.
Okay, alright, sounds good.
Thank you. Bye.
Just mad because you got told no and you're not hearing that.
You're the one going to jail, bro, not me. You're the one going to jail, not me.
Okay, that right there just tells you everything you need to know. This guy is right. The cop got mad because he got told no. I'm not saying the cop didn't have the right to demand his ID. He did. But he didn't adequately explain it. And he, quite frankly, acted like a complete jerk. And he's continuing to do so. Stop arguing. And for a cop to say, hey, you're the one going to jail right now? Fuck you to the highest degree, officer. You are such a goddamn joke.
Okay, and we'll have our day in court.
You will, absolutely.
See your attitude? See your attitude? You see how you got that guilty?
I don't have a guilty. There's no guilty attitude, sir.
That's why we're scared of the cops.
There's no guilty
Your
attitude.
attitude.
177.
But I appreciate you not listening to our side of the story at all. So is it you that sets the bond now, or is it the jail?
The jail.
As officers process the officer, tough gun, bro, criminal trespassing. So, in the end, woman were charged with resisting arrest and criminal
Bullshit.
trespassing. So, in the end, if you enjoyed the video,
Okay. The trespassing charge, we heard about that. We've gone over it. Resisting, bite me. That is so much bullshit. Because I didn't see either person resist. There was no reason for them to tackle her to the ground. And the guy literally just stood there and let them cuff him. So how are they saying he resisted? Like, most resisting charges are bullshit, but these are extra bullshit. As for the title of this one, Nasty Entitled Cheap Couple. Wow, is that a load of crap? I didn't see them act nasty or entitled or cheap. I saw a hotel that couldn't handle a simple problem that I'm sure they have dealt with before, and so decided to call the cops to make the problem go away rather than actually address it and deal with it properly. As a lot of businesses do, because they don't like to admit when they're wrong. And again, I'm not saying they're wrong. It's a pre-authorization that should have been released, and it wasn't. Now, that is an issue for the bank, and that is an issue for the hotel, because the hotel, most companies that put a pre-authorization hold, they can call and get it reversed. But that requires them doing work. Acts like they own the hotel, no. Causes chaos, no. Thinks they're untouchable, absolutely not. This title is nothing but like AI-generated wordy clickbait, and it's quite frankly insulting. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? I didn't plan for this one to be so long, but that happens. That got more complicated than I thought it would. I hope the kids are okay. I'm glad they were not in the middle of this because that's never good. But if you are new here, please like, comment, and subscribe, and especially leave your thoughts in the comments. How do you think the police handled this? I'm giving the police like a C minus because, quite frankly, they handled this quite poorly. And the attitude from all of them, just arguing and arguing and arguing and wanting to be told that they're right. Like, just do your job. Leave the arguing to a courtroom. How do you think the hotel handled it? How do you think the couple handled it? What would you have done if you were in this couple's position? Um, and until the next one, I've been Insane Lane as well as Canadian Girl. Love on yourself and love a fur baby. Bye.